Good afternoon, ladies and germs. This is Enhanced Resolution, and I am doing a follow-up video to my world tour of my Minecraft build that I did not too long ago. I have this is actually going to be a two for one deal. Um, the first part of it is going to be a brief overview of I've actually been asked of how do elevators work, and I have gotten a way to get them to show how they're going to be working. The second one is I did miss a few items, uh, sections of the tour that I'm going to cover briefly at the very end. Now, to start off with, as you can see here, we are in the shrink lab, and let's take a look at this draconium chest here real quick. Now, elevators are by themselves fairly simple. Um, you're going to need, I mean, there's the elevators, and to use the elevators, you're going to need pretty much an elevator screen, an elevator button screen module, and a screen controller. Now, uh, to make the elevator and the screen controllers, you are going to need machine frames. As you can see here, I mean the recipes themselves are not very difficult. It's just some iron ingots in the corners, some lapis in the top and 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock positions, and some gold nuggets in the 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Now, coming over here, this is the actual elevator unit itself. It's just a machine frame, redstone on the side, ender pearl at the top, redstone torch at the bottom, and if you need me to tell you how to make a redstone torch, there's something I can help you with. Now, moving on here, screen controller. It's a similar to the elevator, but you need glass on it. Uh, there for the screen controller. Going down here is the actual screen itself. I will explain what these are all used for here in a second, but it's iron ingots, glass, and a machine base. To make a machine base is just some stone and gold nuggets. And then of course you're going to need an elevator control button module. So, which is just, as you can see, it's ingots, buttons, stone buttons at that, redstone, and of course some form of black ink. They could be organic black dye, ink sacs, just some form of black dye. So moving on here, as you can see over here, I have set up a couple items here that excuse me, of how they work. Now elevators by themselves are a fairly simple mechanic. They have to be, there's a couple rules. One is they have to be vertically aligned. So this one and this one, they are perfectly aligned. Second is you need a platform. The platform needs to be a different block from the surroundings. Because, like for example, if I was to have this sunk into the floor, like see if I have this one over here is, it needs to be a different block. This one right here, I have chiseled into vents. That way, it is able to tell them apart. And that way, it will only grab those blocks. Uh, so once you do that, you have the different blocks. You have the elevators. That's when you are going to place them. Now, to use an elevator and to actually make it work, you need the elevator button screen modules, which I've explained how to make over there. Now, here's the important part. You have to assign the elevator screen module. Basically, you have to assign the button to the elevator unit itself. You do that by shift and right clicking. See how it says right there? Basically, it has made that into a elevator button. So if I was to plug it into the screen, you can see right here, it will show the things. These elevators will not work unless you have some form of control in them. This is from RF Tools, by the way. So, moving on to that, the second thing you're going to need is some form of power for both the elevator unit and the screen controller. Now, only the bottom elevator unit needs power. The others do not. See how that one up there? It has no power. It works just fine. Just the bottom one. My weapon of choice is the wireless RF transmitters. You can use whatever method of power you want, whether it be energy cells, generators, whatever you'd like. Now, The important thing to note is, another thing to note is you're going to need a screen and a screen controller. Screens will not work. So for example, if I was to put that right there, it needs a screen controller to power the screens. Now, some screen modules do require power. Elevator buttons do not use power. See how it is 0 RF a tick? They do not need power. They work just fine. All you have to do is power the screen module, which is fairly easy. Once Now you may, depending on how big your elevator shaft is, for example, like my main elevator shaft I have in my main base, it's at it's actually outside the range. I have to have like 2 or 3 screen control. I think it was 3 screen controllers to get all my screens connected. But what you do is you come in here, you hit scan, and it will reach out a set radius, look for screens. Right now it is seeing this one right here, and then it will then allow it to be used. Now, it is important to note that if you do it like this one where you do at the back wall, screens, elevators, and the walls are considered a block, and they will be knocked off the walls. If you have it like this, they will be knocked off the walls. So you have to either recess it or put it out here on the side or some form of finding it. All right, see. Now, another thing important to note is the longer your trip is, the longer, the more up and down you go, the more RF it's going to take. Say, for example, this one right here, if I hit that button, it took about 1,000 RF, or actually closer to 2,000. But the more it has to travel, the more RF it takes. So be sure that if you're going to be using it for long distances, like what I did in my main shaft, you have um, appropriate power to do so. So yeah, so we recap. You need the elevator, a different type of flooring, so you tell it apart. A button assigned to that elevator by shift right clicking, and then put it into the screen. That way, so you could actually use it as a control panel. See, easy. And of course, you're going to need a screen controller, and depending on how big the difference is between them, you could maybe need to use multiple screen controllers. Like I said, I think I've got 3 in my main shaft. Now, moving on here, this right here is to show there is a side in here, and there is a button in here that is associated with side. Now, elevators only work up and down. They do not work side to side. See how I did right there? So by all logic, if I plug it in, vertical, white, you can't see it because it is not up and down. It does not work side to side. It only works vertical. Now, finally, this one over here is control modules and control screens do not have to be next to elevators. See this one? Exact same setup over there, but as you can see, you do not have to be right next to it for it to work. You could have these on the other side of the base, or let me rephrase that, as long as they are both loaded. So you may, if you have something like on the other side of the base, or like a mob trap or something, you will need to have both sections of them to be loaded for them to actually work. So once again, I mean, like I said, it's the elevators. You have the elevator module itself, where it's going to go to, one at each stop, the control panel with the button modules, a screen controller to be able to use the screen, which doesn't take that much power, and of course you have the various components right here, the machine frames, which is used to make the screen controller, the elevator, button modules, which is fairly cheap, screens, which is this recipe right here, and then of course the machine base, which is just stone and some gold. Usually by the time, if you're wanting to consider doing elevators, you will have more than enough. So now that we've gotten that taken care of, but yeah, let me see. Yeah, see this one right here. I've got my screen controller right here. I've got 15 connected screens all the way up and down. Actually, that one's it's powering these screens up here too. So that now it is. I need my warper. There it is. Now it is considered right now, because I have them stuck in the thing there. I think just like underneath this block right here, there's a wireless one powering both of those. Then I have another one down at the very bottom, and it's all fun. Okay, so now that's being said, a couple of things I missed last time. Now, last time we were talking about Avarita. Um, some of the things I missed, and damn it, I gotta get my controller again. Where's my stats for traveling? Here it is. A couple of the areas that I missed last time on here that we're gonna go take a quick peek into is the access point and the back end for Avarita. Now, this right here is my Avarita lab. As you can see, I've got extreme crafting tables and things. If you pull out the thing, you'll see I have a control panel right there, which, if I can get this to work, there it goes. This is the back end of this side. As you can see, I have got chickens being pumped into the energy condenser to make the various blocks for it. The other side, I think I've got one. Where is it? This one right here is the other side. It's a little bit more packed. As you can see, chickens being pumped into there. I've got my watcher times. The other side have watcher times too. This right here is the master condenser box. It goes all into the personal. This is basically it's pulling out everything that's going into the personal EMC link. And then this goes through, and there's a condenser box on the other, not condenser, a transmutation table on the other side that is allowing it to basically constantly be generating EMC. This entire unit is nothing but emerald chickens being sucked out, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 watches of flowing time that is able to speed it up. That's how I was able to generate the materials and needed to do the Avarita. It took me a while. And this is, oh yeah, this is the access point for behind the Avarita. See right here, this is the entrance. Look over here, you'll see that it's there. There is a way for me to get wireless access. Is I did have a hidden room back here in the back with a quantum link ring right here that's connected. It's actually not working because I have to rebreak the connections. I'm not going to do that. The other side is basically it's just walled off. There's nothing there. So yeah, that the Avarita is coming into this personal EMC link, which is then feeding into the Project E system and my transmutation tables. So I constantly have EMC always coming into the system. Okay, so this of course is making cosmic meatballs. This is making ultimate stew, and this is what I was using to basically build out and make the harvesting stations on the back. Now I don't actually remember. I think originally when I was planning on doing this one was actually having like another row. It's having these things just come out all the way out like right here on each side. As you can see, it just kind of comes down here and comes into this box right here. Excuse me. And then we have neutron collectors basically all over the place. I messed up the way it works and a little bit. These were actually supposed to be rotated on the side, but I felt like it was enough. Now, the last thing I was wanting to show you is the end in the mining dimension. Is that it? Yeah, that should be it. Now, if we come to the end, which is you get to you get to the mining dimension by climbing straight to the top of the world. Once you reach the top, you'll see bedrock. You touch that, you'll be warped to the mining dimension, which, as you can see here, I've been fairly busy. This was my original mine shaft. How do you turn my mouse on? Is it M? No. J? No. How do you control maps? Journey map on. H. There we go. But yeah, if you look at the map, you'll see that where my strip mines are. I went all the way down. I did these, and then not too long after I started these, I decided to build, if I can actually get up, I got into making a hammer, because these are my first shafts, and this is where I got my hammer, and you can see I just kind of went to town. They were stretching a while back, far, far back. I've got quite a few of these shafts, just everywhere. Um, I also have a dark room around here somewhere that I was using to kill. Oh, yeah, here it is. It's a dark room that I was using to kill. That, by the way, that was the draconic armor. It grants me night vision when dark. I made a dark room over here because I was desperately needing some mobs drops. I can't remember exactly what for, but so I made myself a dark room. It has been blown up several times, and yeah, as you can see, I just went to town on digging out everything. This is right here the point when I stopped actually. I think I was using yeah, this is where I was testing out the destruction catalyst from Project E. I was just wanting to mess around with it and was testing it out. Now, if you come over here, this is also, if you look over here, I was messing around with chance cubes. That's why it's a double thing. I was messing around with chance cubes. Word of advice: do not mess with chance cubes unless you want to tear up your base. They very rarely have good effects. Entertaining ones, but very rarely good effects. Okay, let's see here. There was an entrance over here somewhere that I was using to exit the main base. Come up here. I think it's down this shaft, actually. Actually, I think it's this one. But yeah, somewhere around here I started actually going up again to and exploring the caves, because there's naturally forming caves around here anywhere. And this is actually where I started doing it. This goes back. Oh yeah. Oh wait, here it is. Sorry. This goes all the way up to the top, and that's how you reach the end, is by going basically all the way to the top, up to. I'm just gonna fly up to, I think it's 255. But yeah, you reach the ceiling top, that'll take you to the mining. Reach it again, it'll take you to the end. There is nothing at the top of the end. Now this is, of course, the end. Let's come down here. As you can see, I was going to town on getting Endstone. And this is where I was farming from Enderman. Fun fact, with the Draconic armor on, you don't even feel their attacks. Now this right here is where I decided to build the battle arena before I could fight the chicken boss, which was, there's two versions of the chicken boss. There's the Ender chicken, and then there's the Chaos chicken, I believe. What was it called? Yeah, the Chaos chicken. You need the Ender chicken gives you a dragon's nest, like you just killed the regular dragon. The Chaos one is, well, the chicken equivalent of the Chaos dragon, and it's appropriately tough as well. This entire room right here, this actually originated as a 3x3. Was a 3x3x3 room centered around this piece of diamond right here. But yeah, this whole place originated as that, and the Ender chicken basically went to town. And I put cobblestone in here trying to make it so he'd stop destroying the floor. To get the Ender chicken to spawn, you get a regular chicken egg, get a block of diamond, surround it by obsidian, and throw the egg on there and let it hatch. As you can see, the Endermen are everywhere. Come over here. Now this one is great. I was originally trying to make a a cage for the Chaos Chicken so he wouldn't go crazy and break everything. And as you can tell, that plan didn't quite work out. Because I made this box of obsidian, and I put the dragon egg in here, trying to basically, oh, I'm going to contain him, and that way he'll be easy to fight like the Wither is. And as you can see, he had other ideas. That was fun. Those were fun. Now, speaking of which, the Ender Chicken and Chaos Chicken. They are, contrary to popular belief, they are actually rather difficult if you come in here unprepared or under geared, I should say. I came in here with full draconic armor. I was well over geared. I didn't have any problems with it. The music he plays is quite awesome, and it was actually a rather enjoyable fight. Um, and it is actually the only type of boss fight that this pack particularly has. Now, of course, you're going to go back home, and I do believe that is it. Let me see here. Elevators, do that. I think that's it. Yeah, that's everything I have on the list. I'm gonna put this back in here. Put this here. Put this here. Put this here. I really don't care about those things anymore. They're junk. All right. Well, as you can see, those were the areas that I missed. Uh, Sup, dude? I have basically that's a complete and full total world-based tour. I hope you enjoyed the info on involving on how to do elevators, and also enjoyed the behind-the-scenes looks at the rest of the base. This is Enhanced Resolution, and I'm signing off.